Hi there, this is Kazungu Duncan from Aero Productions, and I would like to welcome you into our today's tutorial. And in our today's tutorial, we are going to do, I may call it 3-in-1, because we are going to have a full tutorial on how to apply, skin retouching. And I will be using an image from one of my friends. She's called Bad Girl She. And let me just take this time to, say something about her. She is an upcoming artist, and the term bad is not bad as you think. It is an acronym which means bold and daring, a girl. So she's into music, and I would like you to find her on YouTube. She has a YouTube channel called Bad Girl She. Find her and subscribe to her YouTube channel and watch her content. And also, I would like to ask her fans to subscribe to my YouTube channel in case you need such information or such tutorials. So I will be turning this image. Let me show you the before. This is the before, and this is the after, and you can see it has a lot of drama, and I like it. And you can see really from this kind of an image to this image, really you'll have done something beautiful, So I would like not to waste much of your time, because I believe this tutorial is going to be long. So I'll have the timelines wherever you want to watch. Maybe you should not watch everything. Just go skip to that very minute or that very second and watch whatever you want to watch. So without further ado, let's get started. So first of all, I would like to take you through what I did. So if I open this skin retouching, and of course this, I should just have called it, frequency separation, because, what I did, I had two layers of my image. One, I had the skin tones, and the other one, I had the textures. And by the way, I did a full tutorial on how to perform frequency separation action. Please find a link in the description and watch that video. So I had my skin tones and I had my textures. So what I did, I took all the textures from this layer, the skin tones, to my textures. And after that, I did some, giving it some mood, like the curves and the levels. And then I used this black and white to just help me remove the blemishes that were in the face. The next thing I did, which is a tutorial of itself, I also did a tutorial on how to apply lipstick. So you can find a link in the description and also watch. So if I open this, you'll find that I have several adjustment layers. And these are just solid colors, which I applied. Then using Blend If, I was able to achieve the lipstick that you're seeing. So I had the lower dark. This is the lower dark, like the darker part of the lower lip. And this is the lower lip, yes, but it is the brighter part of it. Then I also have had the upper dark and the upper light. That is for the lipstick. And after that, I did something with her eyes, and I just needed to give it some light and some life. You can see how her eyes are popping. They are very, very, very cute. So what I did, I had some, curves and some levels. Like, for example, I had for the left eye curve, and I did copy it just to increase the intensity. And of course, I reduced the opacity of this to something like 50. Then I had also the left eye levels, just to take the dark parts to be darker and the brighter parts to be bright. And I did the same thing to the right eye. I had the right eye curves. I copied it, and I had the right eye levels just to bring in that, lighting. Then lastly, this is where everything changed. Like, after I applied everything, this is the image that I had. But once I applied now the camera raw, everything changed. So every drama here in this image is brought by the camera raw. So let me just, delete these layers and let's start from scratch. I will take you step by step. And I said, in case you just want to jump to maybe to skin retouching, you have the timeline there. If it is lipstick, you have the timeline there, and so on and so forth. So allow me to do away with this. layers, just drag them and drop them on this trash can so that we just start from scratch. So this is the image that she sent me. So what you do, the first thing you have to do, duplicate this image twice. So make sure that the background is selected and just click Ctrl J or Command J twice. Then you'll have the two images here. So I will name this one as skin tones. Remember we had the skin tones. Then I will rename this to textures. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to perform the frequency separation action, and where we are going to take the whatever texture is here and put it on the texture. So make sure that the textures is off so that you are working with the skin tones. And here what I want to do now, I need to perform a Gaussian blur. What I do is I blur all the textures, then copy them and put them to where I want. So I will come to filter, then go to blur and Gaussian blur. Then at this, I'll just take it to 0 so that I see what I'm doing. I can zoom in and see where I need the best textures. Let me see where the best textures are. I think on the forehead, I like this part. So I want to blur it to somewhere where I cannot see these textures. That means I'll have blurred all of them. So I'll just increase this gradually as I look at my image. And this will vary from image to image. So it will depend with the kind of image you have. You see, I think I'll do 4. It has blurred everything. And do not blur until you cannot see these are eyes, these are nose, this is mouth. No. Blur to somewhere you can really see the image. So I'll do 4. Then just say okay. Now I've successfully blurred this to 4. That is a blur of 4. So I'll turn this on, and once I've turned this on, I now want to take all the blurred textures to this layer. So what I'll do, I will come here on image, then say apply image, then apply image. Then this will load. After it has loaded, now I need to select the layer on which I want to get my skin tones. So I'll come here and say skin tones, because there is where I want to take my skin tones from. Then the blending mode, I'll change it from multiply to subtract. Remember, I'm taking it from, I'm subtracting it, or I'm stealing. Let me use stealing, but in quotes. I'm stealing it from the skin tones to the textures. Then normally here, the scale that works for most images is 2 at 128. The offset should be 128, but you'll try and see which one works for you. But for most images, I think this works. So if you are following around, and by the way, if you need if you need this photo so that you can follow along, find a link in the description and download this so that you can follow along. So you'll have something like this, then just say okay. Then after that is done, I'll change the blending mode from normal to linear light. And it will look like nothing has happened, and that will be just fine. Then I've now separated the skin tones from the textures. So I'll make sure now the skin tones are selected. That is the layer for the skin tones. Then I want to now start applying to blur them. I want to flatten. That's the right term to use. I want to flatten this image so that, I achieve what I want. So I'll zoom in just like this. And I said I like the skin textures from here. So I'll make sure this layer is selected. Then I will use the normal lasso tool. Just hit L on the keyboard, or just come here and pick it from here. Then I will feather it. I'll feather it to 18 pixels, I think is okay. You can do 20 or something, but 18 for me is okay. Then I will now select this. When you are selecting, do not select the hair parts. So make sure that when you are selecting, you only select the parts that do not have hair. So just like that. Then what I want to do here, I want to blur them. So I'll come to filter, blur, then Gaussian blur. And here, what the trick I usually use, for example, I used 4 to blur the skin tones. So what I usually do, it's just a simple arithmetic. For example, I've used 4. I'll take 4 times 3, that is 12. Then I add maybe 3 or 4. So that will give me something like 15. So I usually do that, but I don't know. You will blur until you feel like it is reaching to where you are. So for me, I'll use 15. That's what I usually do. You can either copy me or not copy me. It's still okay. So that has been applied. I'll go to the next part, maybe this part. Just select this and right click, then say Gaussian blur. What this does, it will remember what the blur that you had put earlier on. I may also want to do here. It has not blurred that much. Gaussian blur. Then I come to this part. Just like that. Just select it and say Gaussian blur. Then you can see it is adding the blur. It's slight changes. You may not realize them at this point, but once we are done here, you will realize really we have done a good job. So you can take the whole time in the world. This will take you some good time, because you will need to blur every place of this image, and that will give you the good result. You can see it is blurring, just like that. Be selecting these parts just gradually as you go, and make sure that you cover at least all the image. I'll also pick this part, maybe to the nose, just like that. It is not a must that it be precise, because at the end of the day, we have feathered this, so it will take care of the feathering. We remember we put a feather of about, not of about, of course it was 18 pixels. So that one will be taken care of. So it's not a must to be precise, just like that. This will take you several minutes. So just be patient enough, because what you need is a good flattened image so that you can start working on it. I think I've gone overboard here. So what I'll do, I'll subtract that so that I have the perfect one. Just like that. I'll also need this part. I had not taken care of it. Just right click, Gaussian blur. Then the nose. What I usually do, I don't like the nose to be that flattened. So I will select that and give it a different blur. So I'll come to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and reduce it a bit to something like 10 or 9.8. Just like that. I usually don't like it to be that flattened. Then when it comes to the neck part, I can now go overboard, because now these are different textures. So I can at least go overboard. So I'll come to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Then it was 15. So I'll do something like, let me do 20. Let me just type in 20. Just like that. Then I'll now apply on the neck and the chest parts. I'll just apply a blur of 20, not like what I was doing earlier on. Sorry. And in case you are visiting this YouTube channel for the first time, I would like you to subscribe, and not only subscribe, but also turn on the notification so that you can be notified whenever I upload new videos. And that will be a good thing to me. And you can also share this video if you like it. By the way, you can share it to your friends so that they can, also get motivated. And by the way, during these hard times, you should find something to do. I want to take this opportunity just to encourage you never to give up. Never give up. All of us are going through this. And we still hope that we are going to overcome. So whenever you are feeling like you want to give up, just know that there is hope, and never lose hope in life, because we trust in God, for those of us who are Christians, and we believe that one day we shall beat this pandemic and we shall go back to our normal. So never give up. Just find something good to do. like I did, finding something to do with my Photoshop, playing around with images and trying to come up with, artwork. So let me reduce the talking. Let me show you the before and the after. So this is our before and this is our after. You can see we have flattened most of the parts. I think I've covered almost all. I'm concentrating. Just look at the face and the neck alone. Do not look at the hands. I don't want to do the hands because when ladies are applying their foundation, they only think about the face. So they don't do foundation on the hands. So we'll just limit ourselves to the hands. So I think that's fine. Control D to deselect. Now, the next thing I want to do now, I want now to remove the blemishes that she has in the face. So we are through with flattening the image. So let me zoom in. You can see from her face that she has something going on. Like you can see this, this, I don't like it, don't like this. So I just need to make sure that she is pretty beautiful. So to do that, I'll make a visible layer, a black and white layer, so that what this does, it helps me to know where the highlights are and where the shadows are. So I will reduce the reds so that I have a darker image, maybe like that. So I will use a tool. I will use, for me, I'll use clone, the clone stamp tool, but you can use the regular healing tool. So I'll select it. And what this tool does, it just copies the pixels from one area and pastes it in another area. I think I did a tutorial on that. Kindly find a link in the description. So like, for example, I want to remove this pimple from here. What I'll do, I'll copy a texture or I'll copy a skin tone here. So to copy a skin tone, what you do, you hold Alt and this sign will show up when you have the clone stamp on. So I'll pick a sample here and release Alt, then come and paint here. You see, it has gone. Pick here, paint here. It has gone. Pick here and paint it here. So you will do it until you finish all the blemishes. So it will take you some minutes, maybe 2, maybe 3, according to how fast you are. So you'll just make sure that she doesn't have such things. Just be picking samples and painting them over the areas you feel that they should not have those blemishes. Just pick them and paint them just like that. I also don't like this, so I'll pick a sample here and paint it here. You can see, this is the magical world of Photoshop. You can do anything with Photoshop. I'll pick here, let me pick it here and paint it here. Just like that to fill those gaps. Just like that. Let me see. I also don't like this. I may not do all of them because of time. I don't want to make this tutorial too long for you to watch. Just need to give you an idea. Like these are the basics. So once you learn this, you'll go and practice them and see if you will achieve something like this. By the way, after you've watched this and you've done your video, or you are through with your photo, you can feel free to post it on Instagram and tag me at Aero Productions or at Duncan Atenya, but I think Aero Productions is easier. Then just use a hashtag Aero Review. Just use Aero Review as a hashtag. Then I'll take time and go through it. And in my next video, I will announce who is the winner of that very tutorial. And by the way, I had promised I'll announce the winner of the edit race that I had with the one gentleman from Pixie Imperfect. He's called Unmesh, and most people voted for me, and I'm very, very grateful. Thank you so much. So of course, I don't know how to put this, but it comes out that I was the winner of that contest. But if you did not watch that edit race, I'll also put a link in the description. Kindly find it and watch so that you can also vote. But the votes, I think most of them went to Aero Productions, and I'm so grateful to my community, which is supportive. And again, if you can support me via donations, kindly find a link in the description, also to my Patreon profile, and support me with whatever you have so that you can make Aero Productions free for everyone forever. So as I was talking, I was doing removing the blemishes, and I think I will not do much. I think that's enough. You just find time and do your own so that you can achieve whatever you want. So let me turn off the black and white and see if I still have some blemishes. So to a good percentage, I have really done good to remove the blemishes, and I think they are maybe here. Let me remove this one. So I think to a good percentage, I have removed the blemishes that were there. So I'm through with separating the skin tones. I'm also through with removing the blemishes and having the textures on their own layer. So I think what I'll do next now, I'll group this into one. Just select the first and select the last. Then I'll call this skin retouching. Skin retouching. I'm just renaming it so that I'm organized. So this is before and this is after. So at least the image is flattened. So we are through with the first step. The next step is to apply lipstick. And as I said, I did a separate tutorial on how to apply lipstick. And really, if you can watch it, kindly find a link in the description and watch it. But there you can realize I have gone so slow because I need you to understand. I don't want to rush and I leave you hanging behind. So I'll go as slow as possible, and I believe you'll understand. So what I'll do now, I need now to apply lipstick. So I will create a visible layer, a solid color layer, and I'll give it a color of red, the red that is used for YouTube. Then I will paint it and change the blending mode and apply the blend if. So I'll just come here, click on this adjustment layers, then select solid color. Then on the solid color, I'll use this color CD201F. Then I'll say okay. So you can see it's covering everywhere and I don't like that. So what I'll do, I will invert this mask. So I'll make sure that the mask is selected and then I will invert it. To do that, just hit Ctrl I. It will create a negative mask. Then I'll rename this to lower lip darker, just like that. So I'm saying dark because I analyzed these lips. You can see the lip that is down is a bit darker, and that is obvious because most ladies need, when they're applying the lipstick, you find that the lower lip is always darker than the upper lip, and that's why I called it darker lip. Then I will now paint. I'll just use a regular brush, just hit B on the keyboard, make sure that the mask is selected, and also make sure that you have a soft round brush. Hardness should be 0. I will reduce it by just using the bracket keys, then zoom in a bit, just like that. I will start by drawing the lining on where I need it to be. So I may want to reduce the flow to something like 52, and make sure that the foreground color is white. To do that, just hit X on the keyboard and it will toggle between the black and the white. So I'll draw the lining, make it a bit small again. So I think this is where the lipstick should reach. It should not go beyond this place. So you'll be as precise as possible and just take your time and do something good. Do not hurry. Just take your time and beautify this. Once this has been drawn, I'll now increase the flow to 100 and increase also the size of the brush and paint in just like that. Just paint in. On the edges, I'll reduce the size of the brush so that it does not go overboard. But in case you make a mistake or you paint somewhere else, we still have room for change because this is a mask. And I have done many tutorials explaining masks. So I believe if you are really following my channel, you really understand this and you can do something good and something beautiful. It won't be that bad. So let me do something here. Just like that. I think that's okay. I think I've covered the lower lip. Let me do something like this. I think this is cute. In case we'll make mistakes, of course, we'll come and rectify it. You can see it's looking so bad. So what I'll do, I will now change the blending mode from normal to multiply. Multiply is a blending mode that darkens stuff. So it will darken this, of course. And if I open this, you'll find that this group of blending modes is just for lighting, for darker or darkening the color. This one is for brightening. So I'll make sure it is multiply. Then I will now add in the blend if. So remember, this is the darker part of it. So I just need to remove the brighter parts from this. What I'll do, I'll come here and double click on this right hand side of this layer. Then it will open for me the blend if options. I'll just take it here so that I can see. And I'll take this slider on the underlying layer from my highlights towards my shadows. Then it is too harsh. Hold Alt and break this so that it is softer. And just take this. Just take it as you look at your image, how it changes. And I think I'm liking what it's coming out, just like this. So I think that's okay. Then hit OK once you are satisfied. So this is before, this is after. Then I need to add this is the darker part of the lower lip. So I need the brighter part of the lower lip. So what I'll do, I'll just make a copy of the same lower lip. So just make sure it's selected, Ctrl J on your keyboard. Then I'll rename it to not dark but bright. Just rename it to bright. Then what I'll change is just the blend if options. I'll just do the opposite. Now I will change that. I'm now moving from the shadows towards my highlights. I want just let's take this first to the end. Then now take it from the underlying layer from my left towards my right. And just break it so that it is softer. Let me see if I take it this way. If I take it further, you see, I don't think if it is fine. I won't do that much. Just like that. If it is not fine, you'll come back and change. So I'll hit OK. Then I think it has gone, way too far. I don't like that. So I'll want to change that. Just make sure the mask is selected. Then I will now toggle between black and white. I need black in the foreground. So I'll hit X and just remove it from these extra parts. The flow should be 100 so that it doesn't waste much of your time. So I'll take it off these layers so that it's just here on the lip. And let me see. This is before. This is after. Then I would also want to change the color a bit. Maybe the saturation and the hue. Let me put in something purplish. Closer to red, not that much. Just like that, and reduce its saturation. Not that too much. Just like that. Maybe let me do 60. 60. 62 is still okay, still in the range. Just say okay. So you can see now we at least have this if you take it far, it's when you'll see the beauty of it. Then we need now to work on the upper lip. So I'll now create another layer, a solid color layer. Then I'll still give it the same color, CD201F. Then say okay. I will invert the mask, Control I. Then I will rename it to upper lip darker, just like that. Then I will now want to make sure the mask is selected, white in the background, and now want to make the outline. Make sure the brush is small, reduce the flow to something like 49, and just draw to where you feel it should be, just like that. Draw it nicely and keenly. In case you make a mistake, of course, you shall just rectify that. And by the way, I forgot something. On this layer, this is the brighter layer. Remember when we were on this darker layer, we said multiply is the blending mode that makes things darker. Now, on the brighter one, we'll have a different blending mode. It won't be multiply. So we'll change it from multiply to screen. You can see multiply is the second on this group. Screen is the second on this group. So it's just the opposite of and what did I call it? Of multiply. And you can see now that that color is too much. So I'll want to rectify that. I'm sorry, I forgot that. Let me do U and just change it. And I'll also, I think the saturation is okay. Let me look at the blend if options. Just double click on the right and try to play around with this so that it doesn't look so weird. So you take in consideration you see a blending mode can really change your stuff. You can see I had made a mistake, and I'm not removing this. I just also need you to see the mistakes, the common mistakes that we usually make. I think that's fine with me. Just hit OK. Now let me go back to my upper lip, increase the size of the brush, then increase also the flow to 100, and just painting. So a quick reminder, if you're working with brighter lip, please make sure that the blending mode is screen. If you're working with the darker one, make sure the blending mode is multiply. Do not make the same mistake. And in case you're watching this YouTube channel for the first time and you love my content, kindly hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so that you, my friend, cannot miss any future tip, trick, or even tutorial. So I think this is fine. This is fine. Just like that. Maybe I would want to remove it to some parts, so I'll just hit X to toggle between black and white and just delete it from here. Also from here. Just need it to be on the upper lip. That's fine. I'll change the blending mode from normal to what? Multiply, because I need it to be dark. Then I'll add in blend if. Just double click on the right hand side of this. And now I will now remove this from my left towards my right and break it, holding Alt to break it. Let me see. Let me take it further. Just like this. I think it's becoming more natural. I like that. I think that's fine with this. Once you're satisfied, hit OK. Then I'll make a copy, Control J, but then I'll rename this to brighter. Brighter. Just like that. Then I don't want to make the same mistake, so let me just change it from multiply to screen. Then I'll now change the blend if. I need now to do the opposite. Let me take this back to where they were in the beginning, just like that. And then I will now move from my left towards my right, and it is too harsh. I'll break it so that it is softer. Just move this way, and I think it's becoming more beautiful and more awesome. Let me remind you, kindly find her YouTube channel, Bad Girl She, and make sure that you subscribe so that you can be watching her songs and promote our Kenyan upcoming artists. She's doing a pretty good job, and I like that. So let me hit OK once you're satisfied. Then I would want to add some good thing in this. Let me do some brownish, not that too much, just like that, and reduce its saturation to something like 60. In the 60s to 70s is still okay. Let me do 65 and say okay. So let me zoom out. Wow, you can now see I have just added some lipstick. So let me group them so that you can see the difference. Call this Control G, then call this lipstick, just like that. Let me see before the lipstick and after the lipstick. Wow, I think that's a good thing. And if you feel like it is too much, you can still reduce the opacity so that it's more natural. It's not like, she was overdoing it. Let me do 90. You can still reduce the opacity of the whole group. That one will even create you some time, it won't waste much of your time. So we are done with step 2. And this time I've gone too slow. Oh my, I think I like that. I need you to really understand this. We are done with step 2. Step 3 was to deal with the details in the eye. In the eyes, because there are 2, of course. So I need now to make some good thing in these eyes. I'm not saying they are bad, but then I just need to, make them pop. When someone is looking at it and say, wow, this lady has beautiful eyes. And really, I can really achieve that. Now, simple thing. Let me show you something. Let me create a new layer. Just take my brush, hit B. I cannot see it anyway. Now, let me change the foreground color from this to something like black. I like black anyway, black. So what I want to do is, I want to demonstrate to you. First of all, let's analyze these eyes. Where does the light come from? This light is coming from somewhere here, and it is hitting this very eye at this point. I can see that from this halo here and this one. So that means the light was coming from my top right and was hitting her face. Now, simple mathematics. If this is the eye, this is the eye really? No, let me draw something realistic. Oh my. If this is the eye, the scientists draw it like this. And maybe this is the pupil and the iris and all that. So this light is hitting at this point. Just like that. It's hitting at that point. So where will be the reflection? The reflection will be on the opposite side, right? So the light will come in. After coming in, it will come out through this part. So the reflection will always be in the opposite. Simple mathematics. The same to this. The light is coming into this eye. It will hit at this point and it will come out in this direction. So it will come out in the lower parts. So that means the lower parts of this part of the eye will be brighter, right? Because we just learned about reflection. It will hit from the top, then go through into the iris and all that. Then it will come out in the lower parts. So let me delete this. This was just for the demonstration. And let me not delete it first. I want to show you another thing. So how does the detail of the eye look like? Let me assume this is the eye. Just like that. So what you are going to do, remember we are going to create a curves adjustment layer. And there is no any tutorial I've done without curves. So that means curves is very, very vital in Photoshop. I think I'll create time and do a full tutorial on how to use curves. So I will draw along the radius. So if this is the eye, this is the center. So this is the radius of this. This can be R. So that is the radius. So I'll be drawing along the radius. So of course, this will also be the radius. This is also the radius, and this is the radius. So what I'll be drawing in this manner. So they won't be the same. You won't draw it the same. So it will be looking as natural as possible along the radius. Just like that. So those are the things that I want you to put in mind as you're doing this drawing. So now allow me to delete this. I think I've taught you some physics there. Now, let's now work with the adjustment layer. We said it is curves. So I'll select curves and I'll make sure that it's brighter, because remember we said it will be brighter. Just take this from my left towards my right, or you can pick it from up here and just increase the brightness. Then I'll also, when I was making, you can choose between yellow and blue. But I thought if I give a blue, it won't be that realistic, because blue eyes, most people who have blue eyes are the whites. So I thought if I give a yellow, it will be more realistic. So you will choose, of course. I won't tell you what to use, but you can either use blue or yellow, but I need yellow, and blue is the opposite of yellow. So I'll come here and select the blues and make a point at the center and just reduce, so that I have the yellows. I can also reduce them further in the shadow. So these are the shadows, these are the highlights, and this is the contrast. So once you can see it's applying in the whole image, and that's not what I want. So I'll make sure that the mask is selected. I can call this left eye. Let's call it left eye. Left eye curves. It's good to name them. Make sure it is selected, hit Control I. Now I can now draw. And I remember we agreed we are drawing along the radius. So I'll just draw along the radius. Make sure that the foreground color is white. So just hit X and start drawing. Just like that. Make some stripes. Don't worry. In case you make a mistake, we shall redo that. So just draw along the radius, just like that. You can take the whole time in the world to make it beautiful. Then I want now to remove it from where I don't want it to appear. So what I'll do, I'll hit X to have my black and just remove some of the stripes. Just need to remain with a few of them. Just like that. Make the brush a bit bigger. Make the brush a bit bigger and remove it from these parts. I don't want to see it here. Just need it to be inside that. I'll also want to remove it from this pupil. Just like that. Wow. Now, let me zoom out. Look at that. This is before, this is after. I think I like that. And to add that intensity, what I did, I copied this. I made another copy. So Control J to make it darker, but it's too much. So I reduced the opacity to half. That is 50%. Just like that. At least to give it that light. So you can see that is so cute. Then and the next thing I did, I now, did the, what do you call it? I did the levels. I keep on forgetting. So I'll come here and select levels. Then in the levels, I need just to, make it a bit having the mood like that, and reduce the brightness and increase the contrast. So it has applied the whole image. What do? Control I. I know you know that. Then I'll now paint in the places. The foreground color should be white. Reduce the size of the brush. Just make some good drawings here and there. This is just adding some minor details, but they are not bad because they'll add some good thing into this image. This eye, I mean. Just need the details in the eye. Just take the whole time in the world and make it more beautiful. I'll increase the size of the brush and toggle between white and black and just remove it from where I don't want it to appear. Also here, I remove it so that it's just that way. Now, look at that eye. Who on earth will not like that eye? Wow, I like that. Now, I want to do the same thing on this other eye. But, oh boy, I don't have that time. So what I do, I'll copy this. I don't have that time, really. I'm sorry. Control J, I don't have that time. Rename this to right eye. Right, what? Right eye. I remove this copy. I don't want to see it. Then I will take it to, so that is the first one. Then it's doing this because I haven't moved it. So I'll just move it from here and place it here. Then I'll zoom in and make some few corrections because they may not be the same. So I'll make sure the mask is selected, hit B on the keyboard and white in the background and just maybe add somewhere there, just like that, and somewhere there. Then X, then I want to make some small strips so that it's not too much. Just like that. Remove here, make the brush bigger and also just remove it from this part of the eye. Also don't want it here. Just like that. Wow. Think I've done something good. Is it really good? No. Let me do it here. Yeah, it's now good. That was not good at all. It's now good. Is it looking weird? No. Yes, it is. Because, you know, there should not be something here. Now, that's now beautiful. You know what I'll do next? I want to brighten it. Control J. Just to add the intensity and change the opacity to 50. Just like that. Wow. 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 I like that. Then the curves also. Do I copy it? Yes. Yes. Let me copy it. Control J. I think I'm tired. Oh boy. Take it up. Just like that. What was this? Yes, there's a copy levels. But this I'll know it's for the right eye. Select it. It's still here. So just take it to this. You may not be able to see it. So what I'll do, I'll take my brush and delete it. Then I'll add it myself. So what I just wanted to do is just confuse you a bit. But I've done nothing much. Just confusing you. Make it a bit smaller. White in the background. And just paint in. Wow, you see how it's adding those details? That is what we men like. We men? Did I put myself in that? Anyway, it is we men. We are made to love and admire and all that. Anyway, I don't want to talk much, but I've already talked much. Anyway, let me make it beautiful. Just like that. Now, who on earth will reject such a lady? Wow. Let me group this. And I'm beating campaign for her. I think she should do something. Just kidding. I was about to rename this to kidding anyway. Let me rename it to detail. Details. Maybe eyes. Is that right English? I don't know. Let me see the eyes. That is before. That is after. If you think they are popping up so much, what do? Reduce the opacity to something like 87. For 87, that I think is doing fine. So we are through with the third step. So our image, let me show you the before and the after. This is before. Really good. Fairly good. And this is after. Really beautiful. I like that. Especially the lipstick. I think I like that lipstick and the eyes. Anyway. So what next? We are now through with the 3 main steps. Now the third step It's yes a bonus, but it's so vital. It will make your image pop up and be so beautiful. So that is camera raw. And then what I want to do, I need just to make a stamp visible layer. So make sure the first layer is selected. Then you hit Shift Control Alt E. Shift Control Alt E. It summarizes all this. Whatever you did here, takes it and puts it in one layer. That's the simple English I can use. Then rename this to camera raw. Anyway, that's good. Then I want to work non-destructively. So what I'll do, I'll make this a smart filter. So just go to filter, convert to smart filter, then say okay. It will load and convert it. So after that, I'll now apply the camera raw, come to filter, then camera raw. As it is loading, if you're visiting this YouTube channel for the first time, I would like you to hit that subscribe button and also turn on the notifications so that you will not miss any tip, trick, or tutorial that I usually offer during the week. And if you like this video, I would like you to share it to your friends and to your family so that they can also learn this. And again, I want to remind you, visit the YouTube channel for this beautiful lady. She's called Bad Girl She. She does music. She's an upcoming artist, and also make sure you support. And again, I would like to ask those who are her fans to also subscribe. Yeah, it loaded and I had forgotten anyway. We shall do a number of things here, and I need your concentration. So the first thing I want to do, I want to split tone. So I'll come to here, to this menu, and hover along split toning. Select that. Then I want now to do the shadows and also to do the highlights. But I'll start with the shadows. So I'll choose a color to which I want. I'll change the hue to the color that I want to be in the shadows. Oh boy, it's not loading. Oh, I know why. Because the saturation is 0. So if you take it to somewhere like this, you can see, oh my, it was just something easy. But what I usually do, I return this to 0. Then I hold Alt. When I hold Alt, it assumes that the saturation is 100. So I'll hold Alt and just take it just like this. And if you look at our previous image that I showed you, I did blue because I liked blue. I think blue, let me show you other colors. Magenta and the other colors are not really matching. I don't like them. So I did blue. So pick a blue color. But this will vary, so it will depend with your image. Blue will do fine. Then after that, I gradually increase the saturation to somewhere that I like. So I think you can see it's bringing in some good mood. So I don't want to overdo it. Let me do 80. Now, once I'm done with that, I'll come to the highlights. So in the highlights, let me see which color suits. I think highlights should be brighter. Let me do something like that. That's fine. Yellowish. Let me increase the saturation to something. I also do 80, I think. That's fine. Yellowish. Not that. I don't like it. Let me do a different one. Let me check. I think blue will also suit there. It's taking me a long time, but you'll see which one suits, huh? But at least I think blue will also do the same, but a different shade of blue. Because if you put them blue, all of them, then I don't think it will work. So ideally, let's work with that. Huh? Something like this, close to cyan. I think that's beautiful. Now, I want to explain something about balance. Balance is that if you can see it as two sides. We have the darker side. When you reach here, it is 100% black. When you reach here, it's 100% white. So it's just showing me the shadows and the highlights. So if I move towards my right, it will now shift it will of course put in more of the highlights. You see, it's turning cyan, more of the highlights. If I take it towards my left, it is now putting in more of the shadows. So you learn to take it to somewhere, maybe that if you need more shadows, you put it towards your left, and if you need more highlights, you put it towards your right. So I don't want to do much of it, so maybe let me do it like +3. +3 is working for me. You can see the image is gradually changing, and I think I like that. The next tab I want to use is the basic. So just come to the first tab and do basic. I need a warmer image, so I'll just slightly increase the warmth, not that much. That's too much. Something like 3. 3 is okay. Then the exposure, let me see. I just need to create a mood. So let me just reduce it a bit, not that much. Just a touch of it. Let me do -0.20 is okay. Contrast, if you need any image to pop up, of course you increase the contrast. So I'll increase the contrast, but I don't do over 50. So I'll increase the contrast to, I think 38 is okay. Highlights, I'll slightly increase the highlights because I need them to pop to, I think +22 is okay. The shadows, I just need to add some light in the shadows to brighten it. I don't want it to be that dark. 40 I think is okay. The whites, I can also increase the whites. You see the image is really coming out. The blacks, I'll reduce them so that the darker parts remain to be dark. Just like that. And after that, the textures are also increased, but not too much. +5 is okay. Clarity, increase it a bit. Dehaze, I'll add a little of it, not too much. I mean, let me do 18. Then vibrance, I'll also increase the vibrance to, I think that's too much. Just need a touch of it. Something like +5. You can see that's now fine. Huh? Then after that, what do I do? Let me add some sharpness. So come to detail and add some sharpness. So I'll increase the amount. I'll do this very fast because I think I'm wasting much of your time. By the way, I did a tutorial on this skin retouching. So you can find it and really watch it. I think it will help you understand these things. Then I'll come to effects. I need to add some vignetting. So what I usually do, I take this to 0, the amount to 0. Then I will reduce the feathering to 0. Just drag this to this part so that there's no feathering. Then I'll want also to reduce this roundness to 0 so that I just start from scratch so you can understand. So after that, I'll now try to increase the roundness. So this one shows how this will appear. And I just need, when someone is looking at this image, the concentration should be taken to the face. So I'll do more, increase it to somewhere like, I guess that's fine because it's covering a pretty good surface. Then the midpoint, you can either reduce or increase. So I think I need to reduce it so that it's covering a good part of the face. Then after that, now I can now increase the feathering to somewhere I need. So this one will kill those sharp corners. Still not fine. Let me increase it further to somewhere like, still not, that's not bad. Then I will now increase or I will now change the amount to the one that I want. Don't want it to be that dark. Let me just kill it this way. I think that's fine. At least the concentration is now taken to the face. You can add in the grain if you want, but I think she has enough grain, so I don't want to add that. Then the last thing I think I should do on this is just now to come to tone curve and make sure that the point is selected. Then I will raise them a bit. I raise the shadows a bit. Just to come to the shadows and raise them slightly. Just like that, not too much. I think 6 will do good. Now, I think the image is now beautiful. After you are satisfied, you'll now hit OK. Then allow Photoshop to now apply the filter on your image. Now, this is the image that we have. Allow me to show you the before. This is before. Oh, fairly good. This is after. Wow, I think I like it. And really, the final image that I had, I did some curves, but I don't want to do it here because I also need you to have your time and, just go through this. You can add in some curves just to, change the colors and bringing some good image out of this. But these are the main steps that I wanted to take you through. So in case you need the extra steps, I did a tutorial on how to perform skin retouching. That was a single video dedicated for skin retouching in frequency separation. So I also did the curves there and I explained how you can really make this image pop. So in case you want to watch that, find a link in the description. And so you will watch and also make this more beautiful. As I conclude, I would like you, if you've not subscribed, to subscribe to this YouTube channel and make sure to turn on the notifications so that you, my friend, cannot miss any tip, trick, or tutorial. So let's meet in the future tutorials. Until then, remember to keep creating.